Hello viewers, you are welcome to another exciting episode of this program. My name is Felix Elijah. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I want to please encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel for the purpose of anytime a new video is uploaded, you'll be able to be the first to enjoy the video. And I will also encourage you to please share this videos with your friends, families. These videos are very insightful. I really appreciate that if you can do that. And also you can follow me on Instagram at Felix T. Elijah. You can also follow me on Facebook, Felix Elijah. I've been following a series, Understanding the Heart of Man. We had the first 6 episodes as introductory. And the very last episode, we started a new section. So we introduced a new concept that the heart of man is gated or has channels. And that is true, it does. From the scriptures, Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 said, above all else, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Whatever you need to guard definitely has an outlet or an inlet in it. So it can be a channel, it can be a gate, it can also be considered as a door. So which means our heart has accesses through into it. And we're able to talk about the access. They are called gates, spiritual channels and physical channel. So these are channels to the heart. Okay, so today I will be expanding a little more on this gate, because you may think, is there actually gates or channels or doors around the heart? Yes, there are, and I'm going to show you this from the scriptures. And in addition to that, today we'll be looking at the characteristics of these gates, of these doors, of these channels. So we're going to look into that more in depth before we go into the specificity with regards to each of these gates. In Revelation chapter 3 verse 20, Jesus said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone would hear me and open the door, I will come in. When I come in, I will come into him and what? Sup with him and he with me. What does that mean? Or what door is Jesus talking about? Is it a physical door? It could be. But in reality, he wasn't talking about the physical door. He was talking about the door of your heart, the door of my heart, the door of our heart. That is the gates of our hearts. And he's knocking, speaking to you. Right? How is he knocking? Speaking, talking, speaking, talking. And said, if anyone would hear that knock and then open the door, I will come in. So I won't expatiate too deep on that, but for now, what I'm bringing out there is that there is a gate around your heart that is accessible to the spirit and also the physical. If anyone will hear, that your spiritual ears hearing the knock. Okay, so that is one. Another thing that helps us to understand that there is gates in the heart is when you look at Acts of Apostles chapter 16 verse 14. Apostle Paul was in company of Timothy. If you start from the very first chapter, so he was in company of some other believers. So on the Sabbath day, he went towards the city river just to go and pray around the river. But there were some other women also around the river relaxing. So it was like going to the beach and having some cool time, getting some cool breeze and all of that, some sort of resort. And when he saw that, he began to preach there. But the Bible said that there was a certain woman. Her name is Lydia. Lydia was a businesswoman. The Bible says who also worshiped God. And the Lord opened her heart. She was hearing Paul, and the Lord opened her heart. So, what was opened in her heart? There must have been a door. There must have been a gate. There must have been a channel through which the information got in. There were several women there, but our own heart specifically was opened. So it is not everybody you see that hears or that's hearing the word of God that believes it, or that the word even entered their hearts. Why? Some people are walking around with a closed heart. In fact, a lot of people are walking around with closed hearts. Most of the channels around their heart have been shut. Their spiritual channels are shut. Only the physical channels are opened to wrong information. Basically, that's it. So today we've been able to show that the heart is gated. And there are several other scriptures that could help us on this matter. Now, what are the characteristics of the doors or the gates or the channels of the heart? What are the properties? What is peculiar? What is the nature? How does the gates of the heart, how does it behave? That's what it means. So we're going to look at the characteristics. Number one is that the gates has capacity to open and to close. Jesus said, I stand at the door knocking, which means that door is closed. Yes. So if anyone would open, that means that door has capacity to be opened. Lydia's heart was open. That means previously her heart was closed. And then God opened it, so the heart became opened. So the heart of man, or the gates of the heart, can be closed or open. Now it depends. Some people, the physical gates can be closed or open. For majority, the spiritual gates can be closed or open. And that is actually the difference between us in getting our level of spirituality, if we use that, depending on how much of spiritual signals we are able to receive. That is one. It has capacity to open or to close. Number two is that these gates or these channels are under control of forces. He said, guard your heart. You guard it. That means there is a force that can control the heart. 2, I stand at the door, I knock. If anyone will open, so the control of the gates, either the physical gate or the spiritual gate, is under the control of people that is under your control. God, the Lord, opened the hearts of Lydia. What does that mean? God has control. That means there are forces that can control the heart. There are voluntary forces which is under your control, and involuntary forces that are not under your control that can take over the heart. For example, the Lord to open the heart of Lydia. It wasn't Lydia that opened her own heart. It was God that opened it. So there are forces that could take over your heart. You have to check your heart. Is your heart under your own control, or certain forces are controlling it? That one is for another discussion. Open time will give us time to be able to talk about that at another time. Number 3 is that the heart is selective in its function. Selective in the sense that it allows certain things to go through and does not allow certain things to go through. So, example, if anyone would open, if you allow me, I will come. If you don't allow me, I can't come in. So, it means it is selective. You have the force to select what you want and what you don't want. So the heart is selective. That is why God doesn't force us. If He speaks to you and you don't agree with it, He will be looking at you. So the heart is selective in function.